Yeah there. Today we are going to solve another LeetCode problem named set matrix zeros. Medium level, and it goes like this. Given an mxn integer matrix, if an element is 0, set its entire row and column to zeros. You must do it in place, which means that we are not able to copy the matrix or create an absolutely new one and fill it later. There are some examples here. In the first one, we have a matrix with the center 0 element. In this case, the whole center row and center column are set to zeros. In the second example, we have a matrix with zeros in top corners of the matrix, and as a result, the whole first row, the first column, and last column are set to zeros. All right, so let's start to work on our problem. As you could understand, we are going to iterate through the matrix, and for that we are going to use two loops. On the outside, we are going to iterate through the rows, and on the inside, we are going to iterate through all the columns for the elements of this row. Here we are able to finally address the particular element which we are going through and check if it is equal to 0. And according to the task, we should replace the whole row and column with zeros in this case. However, if we would do it right away, then we have a chance to affect the elements which we haven't passed yet. We would modify them to zeros in this case, and when we would encounter them later, we would mistakenly take them for the zeros of the original matrix. All right. So let's think on the solutions. First obvious one would be to iterate through the matrix and collect all the indexes of all the rows and columns which have zeros, and then iterate through the matrix once again, this time replacing elements standing at these rows and columns with zeros. But I would prefer to do it in one go, so let's think a little bit deeper. Let's focus on the rows first. We are not able to just replace the whole row with zeros when we encounter a zero element. But when we are going to the next line, to the next row, it is safe to replace this line with zeros. So let's create a flag, like is0 row, which initially is going to be false. And whenever we encounter zero element, we are going to set it true. Finally, we are able to check if this matrix, if this row contains the zero element. And if so, we are able to just replace the whole row with the zeros. I would prefer to just create a new array of the same size as the row, and we are going to fill it with zeros. Nice. Now to the columns. We are not able to replace the whole column with zeros when we encounter the element. However, we are able to replace all the elements which we've already passed through. So let's create a method for that, like set zeros in a particular column from the particular row. As you could understand, the element standing at this row and column is already set to 0. It is 0 itself. So we are going to start modifying the matrix from another index from row -1. And while this row index is greater or equal to 1, we are going to reduce it by 1, and we are going to modify the element standing at this row and this column to 0. All right, so let's use it, and whenever we encounter the 0 element, we are going to modify our matrix at this column and from our row. All right, what about the next elements, how we would know if they should be set to zeros? For that, let's create a set of 0 columns. So it's going to be a set of integers, which is going to be empty at the beginning. And whenever we encounter such 0 element, we are going to insert this column to this set. Actually, we are able to check if this set already contains this element, and do it only if there are no such column there yet. It is important because we could encounter multiple zeros at a single column, and we would save time if we would not just recall set zeros for that particular column again and again. Finally, we need to write some condition, like over here, when we should set this particular element to 0 because it belongs to these 0 columns. So for that, we are going to check if this set contains this column. Also, it doesn't make sense to set it to 0 if we are going to replace the whole row with the zeros at this moment. So let's also check this one and put it to the condition. Nice. Let's check for any compilation issues. Nothing over here. And finally, let's submit the solution. Nice. As you see, the execution time of this solution on all of the test cases takes less than 1 millisecond. The execution time stands somewhere on the edge of the threshold, basically. And that's why it beats 100% of other submissions. And that's it for today. If you'd like to see me solving another LeetCode problems, then put your request to the comments sections. See you next time. Cheers.